figured today we'd do a little bit of possum trapping. It's nearing the end of trapping season now, and I've done a fair amount of coon trapping and coyote trapping and stuff like that, but I ain't done a whole lot of possum trapping. And I always like eating me a good possum, but I ain't had me none this year, so the end of the season is a time that I like to do most of my possum trapping. Reason being is in the wintertime, of course, your animals, they're going to get a whole lot of fat on them, storing up fat for the wintertime. And well, possums, they're a fatty animal altogether anyway, so you don't want that extra fat on them. Because when you cook them, it's going to be a whole lot more fat you got to cook off of them. And I'll show y'all cooking process later once I get a couple of them caught. But I got two box traps here I'm going to be using to catch me a couple possums. And I got me another one over yonder that I'm going to be using. But I don't like, see, most of the traps I have, the foothold traps, they're too big to be catching possums in. I've had them tear feet off possums and stuff like that. So, unless I get a smaller trap, foot trap, I just like using the regular old box traps myself for catching possums anyway. And they work out pretty good for me. So, when it comes to possum trapping, I don't usually set my traps out in the woods when it comes to possums anyways. I've done that before, and I ain't really had much good luck. But if you find you an old barn, old building, something like that, some old structure like that, old tobacco barn, old house, something like that, that's where you need to put your traps in. Because they're going to be following the line along the back of the building, something like that. So that's where you need to put your traps out. I'm going to be showing you some good spots to put some traps out. Mostly what I like using for my box traps for possums anyway, the stinkier the better. So right here I got me some white tuna. They like this mess. I know I sure don't like it. I don't eat this mess. But the possums like it anyway. Possums and coons both. If I'm not using this, or sometimes along with this, I'll use some salmon oil. I got some salmon oil. I usually use that for my coyote traps. But it also works good for possums. You just spray a little bit in there. Throw some apples in there, food scraps, whatever. They'll eat anything. What I've done that's worked real good in the past is, if I've been fishing recently, I'll take me a couple heads off some crappie or something, and I'll just cut the heads off of them, or if we're just cleaning fish and gutting fish, take the guts out of the fish, maybe let them sit a couple days, then throw them in the back of the trap. Oh man, they'll come long ways just to get them scraps of meat. The stinkier the better. So I'm gonna show y'all a couple good spots where to put some traps in. Alrighty, y'all. So the first spot I'm gonna be setting one of my possum traps. This is up under an old barn, and there's a pond right down the hill from here. So of course them possums gonna be around that pond trying to get them some fish or something. So there's the creek running back yonder ways. So this is right in between pond, creek, and another pond and another creek over the hill ways. So I'm put this up under this barn, and I've caught some big old possums right here. So set this trap here. It's been a long time. Yep, I reckon it's been about a year since I've used this trap. So it's got some mess growed up in it. But here's one we had a while. It's well used. But I'm gonna take that setup back in there. Alrighty, I get my little latch set. There she goes. Alright. Slide her back in there. Alright, now I'll take my bait. I'm just using tuna. A lot of times I use a couple different things. Maybe tuna and salmon oil, like I said. Maybe tuna and apples, tuna and something. Tuna and fish guts, but usually it consists of tuna. It needs something that's gonna smell real strong. So, stick. This mess stinks. Well, throw it back up in there. Should have got in the back of that trap. Put some of it toward the front of the trap right here. Oh, get them on up in there. All right, that ought to do it. Maybe get some of that juice up there towards the front of it. All right, so we'll come back later. See if we can't get us a couple possums. Alright, y'all, so I'm here behind another old barn. And this one right here, this is a spot where I've also caught, I've caught 4 or 5 possums right here. It's a pretty good spot for catching them. What to do, and if you can, try and camouflage your trap, your box trap, as good as you can. Possums, they ain't like foxes, coyotes, mess. They ain't slick and sly. They ain't gonna try and figure you out. They just after food. But if you can, try and camouflage it. Might help you out a little bit. Put there for that. Alrighty. Pour some of that juice down in there. Oh yeah. Get some of that towards the front of it, like I said. Alrighty. Put some on that foot plate right yonder. Alright. It's into that pack. Have to go get me another pack before we finish the other box trap. Alright, now. What I've always done with the trap I put right here is take a piece of tin, put it over top of it. If it rains soon, it'll keep the rain from washing the smell off the tin a little bit and help camouflage it a little bit. So, cover up the trap with that. Some leaves on top of it. That ought to do pretty good for now. So, we'll catch you on the round and show you if we catch some. Man, them things is good to eat. Gotta cook them with sweet potatoes, but I'll show y'all that a little bit later. But I'll show y'all cooking some possum up. But thank y'all for watching this video. Y'all like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. We'll catch you around.